Hello, my name is Emma Tobias, and I read books in March, and I'm going to talk about them. And hopefully in an interesting and succinct way. But who knows? I try to make my videos under like 15 minutes, but it doesn't always work successfully.
You did it! Congratulations!
But before we do that, I have a very pressing issue, which is I need a nickname for you guys. I've been doing BookTube for a considerably long time. And I never developed a nickname. I have like a little over 1,000 subscribers. I don't actually remember. It's been that way for 15 years, so I should probably know. And I've never developed a nickname for the about 100 people who tend to watch my videos, and I think that's a really detrimental to my brand and to everyone's involvement. It is so warm in here. Maybe because I'm talking about myself in a way that I mean to be sarcastic and kind of like satirical, but there's probably a kernel of truth there. So these are the options. I made a Twitter poll, but I'm not happy with the results. So comment what you think it should be. And if you have any other ideas, go for it. The first one, the name of the fan club. Emma is a person we like. What am I doing? 2, standing Emma is hard. Because it is. You should stand no one, because everyone sucks. 3, we pity her. Something that's true of all of my real life friends. And then finally, the Emsters, which is like, not that good, honestly. I know it's like kind of catchy, the Emsters, but it's not great either. So, please comment down below. Let's get into the video though. I read 6.5 books this month. More like 6 1/4 of a book this month. Less than one, like a 1/10 of a book, but I'm counting it. So let's get started. The first book that I read this month was Davy Jones and the Six. Everyone read this book this month. So honestly, do you guys care about my thoughts? Probably not. All I will say is I loved it. I listened to the audiobook. It had the greatest B-list actors a girl could dream of. Judy Greer, Benjamin Bratt, Pablo Schreiber, other people. It was fantastic. It was raw and emotional and sexy and sad and like heartbreaking and truly just cut to the soul and the center of everything that I love. I love that era of music, and not in a way that I'm like, I'm an old soul, but in a way like I just genuinely really do. And it's because of music my dad made me listen to, and I ended up loving it. So shout out to dads and moms and other people for giving your 13-year-old daughter the music taste of a 50-year-old man. Why do I keep doing finger guns? Stop. Okay. I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I'm going to talk about, I almost did the finger guns again, is Again But Better. Again But Better hasn't come out yet. It comes out in May. Madeline sent me an arc of it, which was very kind of her. Basically, this book is about a girl in college, very insular, lives her life in a very quiet sort of way, and she goes to London for study abroad to have new experiences. And on the way, she falls in love, and other things happen that are very unexpected. So, things that I liked about this book. I like how genuine it is. I like that I can feel her heart within this book. I think that's really nice. I think that's a nice thing to read. 2, she writes very whole and realistic characters, and the fact that, like, they're not super likable, but they're not hateable. They're just people, and I think that's great that she manages to do that. I think it's difficult. I enjoyed that. 3, the book is incredibly readable. Like, it's compulsively readable in the way that, like, Anne of the French Kiss was readable, and, you know, Maureen Johnson's early books were readable. There's, like, a quality about it that reminded me a lot of in high school. I mean, the book is written set in 2011, and that's when I was in high school, so it's hitting a lot of nostalgia for me, and I think that's really nice and lovely. Those are things I really liked about it. Things I didn't like about it. So, basically, and I'm gonna give a big old spoiler warning, and I'm actually going to put the spoiler section in black and white. So when the video is in color again, I've stopped talking about the spoilers. So, there is a huge element of like really weird cheating that happens in this book on like multiple levels. So if cheating is something that you genuinely don't want in your life and you don't want to read about it, or don't want in your life, I don't think anyone wants cheating in their life, Emma. You don't want to read about it, this is not the book for you. There's a lot of like very weird cheating. Gray area cheating is the way I've heard a lot of people describe it. No, like hard no. I did not enjoy that element. I didn't think it needed to be a part of the book. I think the book would have been more successful if that part of the book wasn't involved. Like I think about Anne the French Kiss, like that cheating element I don't think it needed to be part of the book, and I didn't think it needed to be a part of the book here. So, spoiler section over. That was my main issue, the one before. 2, I found some of the references of that era of 2011 to be kind of like, this is a lot. I don't like books with lots of references. I think that they age them in a way that's like the same way that What If It's Us has a lot of Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen references. Like that was just too many references for me. I don't like a lot of pop culture references. So that's a personal thing that I didn't enjoy. Number 3 is a nitpicky thing, and this is gonna be my last thing because I think my first thing is probably just like my major issue with this book. And a lot of the other stuff is like things that kind of came from that, or just from like the writing using so many references. The final big thing, this is like a really long video. The final big thing is when you go and study abroad, I sat through a lot of study abroad training because I helped do study abroad. When you go and study abroad, and you're in a study abroad house, a university-sponsored house, you can't have alcohol. Like, that's a rule, especially American study abroad. And I don't know if it is a university house in this book, but they have alcohol. And I'm like, that's not realistic. That's not how this works. Anyway, no one cares. It's such a nitpicky thing. And I kept texting Madeline about it. I'm sure she was like, Emma. So the 4th or the 10th of the book that I read was This Will Only Hurt a Little by Busy Phillips. I started reading this book so long ago on audio and finally finished it. I would highly recommend it. It was a 5-star book, 4 or 5-star book. I read it so long ago, I can't really remember it. I listened to the last like 30 minutes of it this month. That's why I'm counting it. I loved it. There are certain chapters in this book that completely soar. They're so charming. She's so candid and so honest about her life and her experiences. There are a lot of big content warnings and trigger warnings. Sexual assault, emotional abuse are the 2 that come to mind the most. Depression, anxiety, birth and pregnancy, like, there's a lot of stuff, so definitely do your research before you read this. But I really loved it. I really love her, and I love how honest and candid she was, and it's one of my favorite celebrity, like, memoirs. I think it's really well worth the read. Next, I got an arc of Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. If you watch my vlog, I read this during the vlog. The rest of these books I read during the vlog. I loved this so much. It was 5 stars. It's about the Prince of England falling in love and vice versa with the first son of the United States. And ooh, there's so much great representation in this book. You have a main character who is both half Mexican American, and also he is bisexual, and I loved it. And there's also his like best friend in the book. She's bisexual, so you get like 2 bisexual characters in one book. It was so funny and sweet and smart and hopeful, and it made me cry my brains out at the end. Like, if you love contemporaries, I love contemporaries. Madeline, shout out to Madeline, sponsor of this video, really, like, pushed me to read this, and I'm so glad she did. Like, I was gonna read it, but, like, she was like, you should read this right now. And so when I got the NetGalley arc, I was like, I gotta read this. It was perfection. Like, truly lifted my soul with how happy and kind and good and lovely it was. If you feel bad about the state of the world, which I would say most of us do, this book is the little spot of sunshine. Next, I read Eliza and Her Monsters. I know this book came out forever ago and I finally read it, but I'm really glad I did. This book was great. If you don't know what it's about a girl who basically runs, or is like an artist and an illustrator. Oh my god, I can't get this out. She is a webcomic artist, a webcomic person. I don't know what to say, like what, anyway. So she runs anonymously a very successful webcomic, that's what I was trying to say, and she has a lot of mental health issues, she's very to herself, and she meets a boy at school who ends up actually being a big fan of her webcomic, but she doesn't tell him that she is the person in charge of this huge fandom, like like millions of people who enjoy her webcomic. It's about that. It's about her relationship and also her life and her art and where she fits in. And about fame as well. I loved this. It was beautiful. Like, I read it in a day. I flew through it. I really like the main character. I really like seeing her growth and her development and her kind of realizing who she is and where she fits with her family and where she fits with her friends and her community. I thought it was beautiful and so good. I know that people have like differing views about Wallace. Wallace is the love interest. I really did like him at first. My problem with the ending and the way that he treats the main character by the end was it felt so out of character for him. He seemed like such a gentle person and had a lot of empathy, and his reaction to her actions, which aren't great, like they're not okay, like he acts in a way that feels so bizarrely mean, and like she did something here and he reacted like here. It just didn't seem like it was the same. And I just really didn't like that. That was my only qualm with this book, was I really didn't like this. Also, lots of content warnings, so please check those out, because a lot of mental health stuff in this book. And finally, I read Spinning by Tilly Walden. This is a graphic memoir, an own voices queer graphic memoir. I love graphic memoirs. It's like my favorite, one of my favorite genres, and this was beautiful. Tilly Walden's life as a young girl, being into figure skating and her kind of figuring herself out, and a lot of really sad stuff happens, and it's really beautifully illustrated and small yet large and beautiful. I'm saying beautiful a lot. I just really loved it. It was really great. Really great. I would recommend it. So that's my wrap up for March. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please tell me about the fan thing down below. I've already read one book for April, so we're tracking fairly well since I did all of my reading in March at the very end of the month. I just finished Beneath the Sugar Sky, so get ready for that when that wrap up comes up. Anyway, have a lovely day. Bye.